welcome to this episode of the Minnesota Lefthanders podcast. Got a lot to chat about today, mostly LIV golf concentrated, but we are also about 2 weeks from Lefty Open sign-up day, so I want to talk about that, kind of reiterate that we'd like everyone to sign up, like I said, 2 weeks from now, July 1. The actual tournament is July 16th and 17th. So as I record this today, Phil Mickelson had his press conference at the U.S. Open. He was uncomfortable, to say the least.
I know that many of you have many people have strong opinions, emotions about my choice to go forward with LIV Golf, and I understand and I respect that. I am incredibly grateful for the PGA Tour and for the many opportunities that it has provided me through the years, but I am excited about this new opportunity as well.
The U.S. Open decided, the USGA, I should say, and actually we should back up here. If you haven't heard by now, maybe this will be news to you, I guess, but many people have heard this. There's been a lot of chatter about this. The PGA Tour does not run any of the majors. Not one of the four majors is run by the PGA Tour. The biggest event that the PGA Tour runs, standalone event, is probably the Players. You could argue maybe the PGA Championship, but between the Players and the PGA or the Tour Championship, the Tour Championship, those are the two biggest, but they do not run any of the four majors. So what those majors decide to do, the organizations that run those majors decide to do with these guys who have gone to LIV golf but louder, is kind of up to them. The PGA Tour and Jay Monahan, by extension, really have no say. The U.S. Open, I'll start there because it is coming up here this week. The U.S. Open is run by the USGA. The Open Championship, the tournament formerly known as the British Open, is run by the RNA, the Royal and Ancient Club. The Masters is run in-house by the Masters, and the PGA Championship is run by the PGA of America. So the PGA Tour doesn't really have any say in if they can ban these guys from the majors. As you maybe heard or even saw at last week's RBC Canadian, Jay Monahan met with Jim Nance in the booth on the telecast and talked a lot about how those guys are, just kind of where they stand with the guys on the LIV Tour and where, he stands on the PGA Tour. On the Thursday that they teed off for the first event out at Centurion Club in London, it was almost as though as soon as balls were in the air, a letter of suspension dropped from Jay Monahan, commissioner of the PGA Tour, saying that they would be suspended. Didn't really give a length of time. There's a lot of questions with this letter. We don't know what that means or anything like that. And so you've got clips of like Dustin Johnson saying things like, he plans to play the majors and the 8 LIV events, and that's about it. In fact, here's a couple of his reasons, some of his reasoning for joining the LIV Tour.
I don't know how the Masters is going to feel about all this stuff. Have you, as the defending champ, or as a former champ, had any kind of conversations with anybody there, any assurances that you'll always be welcome there?
I mean, I've definitely talked to him, but, you're going to have to ask somebody from the Masters. I can't comment on anything they've said.
DJ, obviously it's been now over 24 hours since Jay Monahan's memo. Have you spoken to people in the last 24 hours about whether there's any legal recourse, whether there's any route back onto the PGA Tour?
I have not, and at this point, my plan is to play the LIV events and a few majors, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, well, that was the whole reason.
What do you do for the other 40 weeks?
That was the whole reason
I
started playing on LIV, is to play less golf, not more.
And so, we got to see how this plays out and who they get, because if the majors also decide to ban these guys, it totally vindicates Jay Monahan and it completely fractures the game. But if the majors don't and they decide, we're going to let these guys play, which the USGA has decided for this week's event they are going to let these guys play because they can't change it now, kind of a thing. That's why Phil was giving that press conference and intends to play this week. But moving forward, if they decide to ban these guys, the 4 majors, that vindicates Jay Monahan, and he feels better about what he's doing. But is LIV just going to pull more guys? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could. There's no reason that they couldn't. There's a big class of guys who would be interested in going. I just heard that Scotty Scheffler this season, he's got 4 wins and like a playoff loss. He's won like $11 million. Taylor Gooch got like 20 just for showing up. Like I mean, plus the purse is 4.7. I think Charles Schwartzel got. Charles Schwartzel got $4.7 million for winning that London event. I don't know what Rory got at the RBC Canadian, but it was somewhere in the 1, maybe 2, probably not even 2. I'd rather watch Rory beat Finau and Justin Thomas, because watching Charles Schwartzel beat up on Henny Duplessis, it doesn't move the needle yet. But that kind of moves into one of my next points. This first year of the LIV Tour was not ever going to be great. It just wasn't. It would be real pathetic. It would look real bad if they didn't pull Dustin Johnson for that first event. If your big names were Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, and Ian Poulter, it just wouldn't move the needle at all. That I think that would make it dead in the water. But since then, if you're going to pull Bryson, which they did, or they since have, Patrick Reed sort of moves the needle. I don't know. He's kind of, I don't know. I don't know where I land on him yet. Sort of these rumors of Ricky Fowler maybe going. Rory's been outspoken about not joining the LIV Tour. In fact, took a shot at Norman as he on the green right after he won.
Tour win. Yeah, this is a day I'll remember for a long, long time. 21st PGA Tour win, one more than someone else. That gave me a little bit of extra incentive today, and I'm happy to get it done.
But if you start to pull some of these guys, give it a year, give it 2. Some of these other guys start to see that this is a sustainable tour, and suddenly you have a legitimate competition, and the PGA Tour is going to have to change its business model. You're just going to have to, because if they get to play in the big events, which were not made clear in that suspension letter, and radio silence on the future of the majors at this point. The Masters, as near as I can tell, it hasn't put out a statement. The Open, the RNA hasn't put out a statement, and the PGA of America hasn't put out a statement. The USGA said, well, our event's next week, we have to say something. So they did. But I don't know. I don't think, I haven't heard anything from the other ones. So with sort of the ambiguity of what's left, if in the future these guys do get to play in the Ryder Cup, the PGA Tour gives in, and they do get to play in the majors, it changes the entire golf landscape. They're going to have to find some way to live in harmony, the PGA Tour and this LIV Golf. They're going to have to, because guys are going to go over there to make more money. You are going to lose. You might not lose Rory. You might not lose Justin Thomas at this point. But who knows if David Puig and James Piot weren't destined to be the next Jon Rahm or Colin Morikawa, and they're already there. That's how Colin Morikawa and Jon Rahm got their start. David Puig is straight from ASU, just like Jon Rahm. We don't know what those guys could end up being, but the unknown of having to travel through all the minor leagues, the Korn Ferry Tour, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, and you're just unsure. And it might take a few years to get to the tour, and who knows what can happen. Or you just take the money. And if more and more guys start to take the money in the coming years, the PGA Tour and LIV are going to have to find a way to live in harmony. They just are. They're going to have to find a way to work together. Now, on the setup, I like it. I didn't mind YouTube. There were some things with some graphics that I would definitely change. I would definitely change a few things there. But when it comes to the setup of the tournament, I'm all in on the shotgun start. I love that it's just go, 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 shot after shot after shot. There's no waiting. Everyone's on the course at the same time. I imagine for the guys, the players, they love it because their tee time is their tee time. There's no waiting around in the morning. If you're in the lead, you got to wait till the afternoon or whatever. It takes away sort of some of those advantages versus early, late tee times. Everyone's on the course at the same time. You're doing it with the same weather. And so that's interesting. I'm all for that. And I guess at this point there aren't many sponsors, so there's no reason to cut to commercial. Like I said, I don't mind that. I like lots of shots. But as far as the graphics go, hated the live leaderboard with the first letter of the name and then some hodgepodge ambiguous 3 letters of the guy's last name. Phil Mickelson was P.Mik. Like, that's not, you might be able to pull that one because it's Phil Mickelson, but how about some of these other guys who aren't from the big tours who've signed on, and you don't know who they are? Is that really, I wouldn't know who was in the lead. I happen to know it was Charles Schwartzel because I'm a bit of a golf nerd, but there's people who don't even know who that is. So, it kind of goes both ways. I think there needs to be a little bit more done there, and I think they'll improve that. But at the same time, gosh, I really, really don't know, because when they were releasing the teams and the titles and all that stuff, it was like team captain was Taylor Gooch, and they spelled Taylor's name wrong and then left it up on Twitter. I don't know why you would do that. I can't believe that they did that when they knew that they had to have known at some point that they put an extra letter in Taylor's name. It doesn't make sense to me. And then these team names and these freaking graphics, it's like Windows 95 clip art. It's just not good. They gotta change that up. They gotta do something differently there. The branding, the colors, the promo at the beginning makes me feel like I'm in a 1970s dance club. It all feels like it needs some improving. But that's just kind of the little stuff that can be worked out, I suppose. People are willing to look past that because it doesn't sound like this thing's going away. It sounds like this thing's, even if it does go away in the long term, it's around for a little while. I can't imagine that DJ's deal is $125 million, which it is $125 million, but I can't imagine $125 million for a year. This has got to be a couple-year contract. They got to know that they're going to be around for a while. It'd be bittersweet for me if the whole thing folded, because these guys would be banned and they wouldn't get their money. I don't know. Like, the guys who were a little bit more patient would get paid a little bit more because they wouldn't be, banned from the PGA Tour if it disappeared, if this LIV Golf disappeared. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens going forward with that. As you can see, there's so many unknowns here still. But the first tour is, the tour's off and running. So we're going to have to see, and it'll be interesting to see, again, how these majors work themselves out going forward. I think my next couple topics on this tour, playing strictly for money, is it interesting? Is it fun? 1. And 2, the human rights. Let's talk about that in just a second. So playing for money, I don't know. There just seems to be something more when you feel like they're playing for something. When it just feels like a money grab, it feels like a pro-am. I don't know. Watching Rory was so much more fun for me than watching Charles Schwartzel this week, right? But again, that's going to change. That's as the years go by and they start to pull more people, that will change. There might be some big names, some fun golfers to watch who are winning on the LIV Tour, and they're going to pull viewers away from the PGA Tour. And when that starts to happen, I still have this question. What is CBS going to do? What is NBC going to do? What's Golf Channel going to do? Right now they're streaming on YouTube because they're just trying to get their start, get some traction here. The LIV Tours on YouTube and Facebook and like their website or something. But if some big names start to move their way over there, I gotta believe that the broadcast companies are going to have to start to air this. Especially on a down week like John Deere week or something on the PGA Tour. If you could watch, Bryson and Patrick Reed and Dustin Johnson and, I don't know, maybe David Puig or something starts to play well. He's a young guy who's going to beat some of these big names. Maybe that would draw some eyes. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I would think in the coming years that's going to have to get sorted out. They're going to have to come that way. They're not the PGA Tour. They don't have to take some stance. I don't know, if Faldo wants to say what Faldo wants to say, whatever he said on the broadcast, whatever. He'll be quick to sell out when CBS airs a LIV golf event. I gotta believe he will. On human rights, yes, it's a dictatorship. Yes, Jamal Khashoggi. Yes, that happened. I get it. But in all honesty, are we on some human rights moral high ground here? I don't know. We're not exactly great as far as that goes. You gotta decide what you're okay with. I don't know. And if you can decide to set yourself up with this much money and this much free time, because honestly it's 8 events in the majors is 12 events a year. Are you kidding? Dustin Johnson, I just played that clip, but he already said he wants to have more time to do what he wants to do. I think we're still trying to work that out, though, because, you got Westwood and Poulter being asked questions like this.
Lee and Ian, is there anywhere in the world you wouldn't play? If Vladimir Putin had a tournament, would you play there?
That's speculation. Not even going to comment on speculation.
So, just in a generality, is there anywhere you wouldn't play on a moral basis? If the money was right, is there anywhere you wouldn't play?
I don't need to answer that question.
Sorry?
I don't need to answer that question.
Lee, do you want to answer it? Would you have played in apartheid South Africa, for example?
Well, you're just asking us to answer a hypothetical question there, which...
Well, they're moral questions, aren't they?
Answer a question on that.
So, lots to glean. I wanted to maybe do a newsletter for this week, but I just don't think... I thought a podcast would be better just because I could pull some audio and throw it in there. Lots to glean from a very busy week of golf. I am quite excited that Netflix has decided to follow the PGA Tour this year. Lots going on, lots happening. What a fun year for this to happen. I hope that we get some good stuff. I hope that the PGA Tour does not have any veto power. I hope that the PGA Tour doesn't have any say so that they can kind of, aim the narrative however they want to here. I want it to be Netflix just recording and putting it out there. But they've sort of gone that way, which I appreciate, kind of backing Dave Chappelle and putting up what they are doing and trusting that they have, that their subscribers are gonna watch it. I think it'll work. I think it's gonna work, and I hope that they don't let the PGA Tour sort of control this narrative at all. I really want to see kind of some raw commentary on this. I think it'd be really, really fun. Lastly, the Lefty Open. It is, as I record this, the middle of June, and we have 2 weeks until entries, the entry deadline. If you are interested in playing, if you're interested in signing up, please email me at mnlefthanders@gmail.com. I want to get you on an email list. If you would like to pay by check, send an email to that number letting me know so that I can send you the address to send the $115 to. That gets you 2 days of golf. Granted, you're going to have to pay for cart extra, but that pays for any payouts and your greens fees. You can also Venmo me at Nate-Doimer. And so there's a couple ways to get signed up. So with that, keep in mind, too, that there is a big cup tournament Saturday night. I'll just have a sign-up sheet at the table when you check in. That's going to be kind of just organic. We'll see who shows up, who can play. I'm going to try to recruit people for that, too. Maybe some guys who can't commit to the 2-day tournament. Just want to come out and hang out and play 9 holes, take an hour, at the end of the round, we'll tee off at like 6:30 or something. And then obviously I've talked about lodging. You've got Monticello 5 miles away, and you've got Otsego 5 miles away. Otsego's got what is now a Wyndham Garden Inn. It is not a Holiday Inn anymore. But lots of food and drink options in Otsego, within walking distance of that hotel, actually. So if that's something that you're interested, you are welcome to go that direction as well. I will probably be out there at some point as well that evening. And then Sunday we are back for 9 a.m. tee times, sort of a getaway day. We'll get you out of there by 1 or 2, hopefully. So again, that is mnlefthanders@gmail.com, or follow me on many of your social channels, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I have not really dived into Snapchat or TikTok yet, but I get a lot posted on those other ones. So take a look there, and more than just announcements, I post lots of other golf nonsense. So if you're interested, definitely go ahead and take a look there. Looking forward to your inquiries if that's something you're interested in. If you know somebody who wants to play, spread that word as well. The flyer is up at all of those Instagram or all those social channels as well. Thanks for listening, and check back soon for more episodes.